the role that United Way is playing as that coach, guide, entity that is committed to looking at all aspects of community and impact at this time. Like what's impacting the staff of each organization, what's impacting the home visitors, the coaches of those home visitors. You have to look at every layer. And that is a very unique and special role, and United Way plays that.
This is Hourglass, the podcast for United Way of King County in Seattle. Coming up, a conversation about our partnership with the Stolte Family Foundation. The foundation's support of United Way and in our programs like ParentChild Plus has enabled us to invest in maternal wellness, in early learning, and in strengthening parent-child relationships. For this episode, we'll chat with Kim Wright, Executive Director of the Stolte Family Foundation and Stolte Family Organizations, and Sebe, United Way Director of Education Strategies, on topics including the Stolte Family Foundation's commitment to ParentChild Plus and its partnership with United Way. We will also spotlight our free summer meals program and our community partnership kit offerings. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for tuning in. At United Way of King County, quality education is not just a pillar of our work, it is our passion. And to that end, we embrace early learning and champion the National ParentChild Plus program and its local agencies so that our kiddos start school on a path to success. ParentChild Plus offers an in-home, one-on-one teaching model, matching toddlers and parents with home visitors, usually of the same cultural background and language. ParentChild Plus is offered locally by many nonprofit organizations, including some that are funded by and partner with United Way. ParentChild Plus at United Way is sustained by a dedicated village of passionate supporters. That support includes multi-year investments from funders like the Seattle-based Stolte Family Foundation, which partners with organizations that are advancing solutions in education, climate, and civic engagement. The Stolte Family Foundation's investment in United Way and ParentChild Plus has enabled United Way to access public funds and bring funders together to invest in maternal wellness and early learning. Those pooled funds provide stable support for immigrant and refugee families. By strengthening parent-child relationships, ParentChild Plus has a long-term impact on education outcomes and economic stability in our region. The Stolte Family Foundation was established in 2015 by Heidi Stolte, a former elementary school teacher and community volunteer, and Chris Stolte, co-founder of Tableau Software. The foundation's education work helps close opportunity gaps by engaging families and communities in King, Pierce, and Snohomish counties. The Stolte Family Foundation invests in organizations that bring learning opportunities into families' homes, support family engagement in their children's learning, and prevents disparities in education. United Way is proud to have worked alongside the Stolte Family Foundation and its staff members like Kim Wright, Executive Director of the Stolte Family Foundation and Stolte Family Organizations. Kim is the Stolte Family Foundation's founding Executive Director and has worked in the local philanthropic sector for more than 30 years. For this episode of Hourglass, we chatted with Kim and Sebe, United Way Director of Education Strategies, on topics including the Stolte Family Foundation's commitment to ParentChild Plus and its partnership with United Way. We began with Kim, who spoke about her work with young people and community organizations and the work and impact of the Stolte Family Foundation.
I am born and raised in Seattle. I've been working with young people and community organizations for 35 years. It's wild to say that now.
Wow.
So I've grown in my knowledge of different neighborhoods, and my own neighborhood is West Seattle. I'm a proud West Seattleite. Spent a lot of my childhood in White Center and Burien. I was a competitive roller skater.
Wow.
Yeah. And I went to Seattle University, and I got very interested in sociology and social work and found my way to a youth and family services organization. on Mercer Island. So I was working with a population that had a lot of opportunity, and I helped develop a year-round program to take young people off of the island and give them a greater understanding of social and environmental opportunities. And I did that for 10 years. I felt like I had just, the best job. And at the end of that, I realized I had to get an adult job. And at that point, I had been volunteering with Boomtown Cafe, providing dignified meals to folks in downtown, not far from here. And they asked me to try to sort of resurrect the program and move it. And that was a challenging experience to try and revitalize a closed program in 2007 at a time where downtown was thriving and didn't want affordable meals program. So I learned a lot about what happens to an organization, particularly organizations that are highly fueled by passion and equity and justice and commitment, and may not have the full set of funding sources to help them ever reach sustainability. When that organization closed, it was right around the time that my father passed. So I had a couple of months off and saw a job at the Stolte Foundation, and was lucky to be invited to be a program and donor services advisor there. So I brought in my knowledge of working with young people, connecting them to community organizations and issues, and my, sort of deep interest and passion in working broadly in King County. And that is where I met Heidi Stolte and Chris and, a few other incredible civic leaders who've been the chair of United Way's board, and was introduced to United Way along that path when you all were working to bring PC Plus to scale.
And just tell us a little bit about the Stolte Family Foundation. You talked about meeting some of the folks there. Talk to us a little bit about the history of that.
Yeah. Well, Chris and Heidi Stolte had a moment in their lives where they were blessed with a successful business, and they knew that they wanted to use those resources and infuse them back into community and to support groups who were working to solve problems. So I had met them at the Stolte Foundation, and we were discussing the possibilities and what they might choose, and they decided to launch a private foundation. So we started with the Stolte Family Foundation, and we were exploring issues in early childhood and out of school time. It led us a little bit more to our focus of the last nearly 10 years on home visiting and parent and family engagement and working to build stronger systems in education. And once Chris retired from his work at Tableau, we built out a climate and clean energy program. Throughout that time, because this was 2015, 2016, we realized that we were concerned about democracy, and we wanted to support the development of strong progressive infrastructure in Washington state. And that gave us some more awareness of other giving vehicles. And so at that point, we decided that the Stolte Family Foundation was a great vehicle for us to be in partnership with organizations working in the charitable sector, but then that there were other really powerful levers for change. We wanted to be able to say we have a point of view on policy. And in order to get the policy that you believe is strongest and best aligned with some of the goals we were working to achieve, we realized, unfortunately, that we had to get more involved in politics and ensuring that we had lawmakers who were making the decisions about what makes strong policy, how to pass strong policy, how to implement strong policy. So it's been a bit of our arc. And we've had quite a bit of evolution in that time. And I think it's a credit to Chris and Heidi in thinking about how you solve problems, how you iterate when things change in community, or things change at any particular systems level, like the political level.
Talk to us a little bit about the Stolte Family Foundation's connection to United Way of King County.
Yeah. Well, that started when I was at the Stolte Foundation, and Heidi and Chris partnered early with the Stolte Foundation and with other really important donor organizations that worked to educate and engage donors like social venture partners. At that time, I think it was 2013, there was this really thriving donor engagement infrastructure. And United Way was absolutely a leader in that. And they had discovered that this program, ParentChild Plus program, I think it was the ParentChild Home Visitor Program or something like that, that they looked at the data because it's had decades of data to show it's effective. It is not an expensive program, and it focuses on disparities, like who are the kids and families that we haven't been reaching through other programs and mechanisms. So we loved that, and I loved that. And again, at the Stolte Foundation, I was working with many different donors, many different donor families, and I was seeing the way that United Way hosted donor learning sessions on PC Plus. People lit up. There were so many moments where we had the opportunity to sit and watch the expertise of what used to be called a home visitor, early child specialist, and families, and families who had caregivers of all ages. Sometimes it was a grandmother, sometimes it was a father, or a mother. And they demonstrated that if you build a relationship with that parent or family member, caretaker, and you support them in learning what works to help young people's brains develop. And so much of that was interaction and play and, the important pieces of like meeting them where they're at. So the program just had all these incredible components that I could just go on and on about that really demonstrated visually to people like this works. And then again, United Ways facilitated and supported the organizations that are delivering this program for so long. You have the data that proves it decreases and sometimes eliminates disparities. And again, the cost for the program is much lower than the cost of other home visiting programs. So Heidi and I thought, this is the program that we want to help scale. This is the program that if we can get it into more kids and families' lives, it can make more of a difference for young people as they enter kindergarten and move all the way through graduation.
Great. And so now, in terms of your partnership with United Way, with that, there's so many organizations in this area. Why United Way?
First of all, you played an important role in scaling this program. You had donor relationships, you had organizational relationships, and you played a role of supporting the nonprofit organizations who were delivering the program. That I have come to learn is key in helping organizations be successful. There's been a lot of learning, but United Way has been committed to it. In particular, I'll just name Karen Howell Clark. I mean,
absolutely.
She has been a champion for this program. She knows the way that it can be implemented to the benefit of young people. And that's just, and families, that's just one level. United Way did the hard work of fundraising, and it wasn't easy. And I think the whole time we built the capital campaign to scale, and I say we because I feel like we were a part of it. The Stolte Foundation was a part of it. Donors were a part of it. We are now the largest private funder and have been and are very proud of it. And
it was a real community effort and continues to be.
Absolutely. And United Way played a trust building and skills and expertise role that allows the delivery of those programs and those organizations to be more successful.
Great. I just want to ask you one more quick question. You talk about scaling programs. For someone that doesn't know, what does it mean to scale?
Yeah, it means to bring it to, well, it actually could vary. In this case, originally the campaign set out to bring it to 1,200 families.
Oh, wow.
And so the learning that we've had over the years, that scale isn't necessarily the goal that we should be working to achieve. Actual quality implementation is more important, and ensuring that we are paying people a family living wage is more important. As I continue to think about this as a we program, like King County and Seattle and United Way and many donors of all sizes have been working to continue to carry this program forward. And now what we like to say is that quality and paying people a family wage in Seattle and King County is more important than making sure we stick with 1,200 families. And sometimes that goes against how some donors think. And my experience as a donor advisor has been like, that's one element of an outcome, or it's an output, really. But like, how do we know that reaching 1,200 families the way that we were 7 years ago is actually more effective than working really well with 800 families, and paying everyone who contributes to and delivers this program a living wage?
Awesome.
One specific story that I remember Heidi sharing from her experience of participating in a home visitor training was that one of the specialists was talking about going into families' lives, sometimes at times where they have to be working on other things. And in this case, it was making dinner. And the home visitor said, I didn't want her to stop making dinner. It was what she needed to do for her family. And I found the ways to talk with her and to continue to coach her around how we can use play and use connection and engagement with like reading to help build those, build the brain. And I remember Heidi saying it just felt so real because she had experienced that as a parent. Like this is a program and a group of specialists who can adapt to where a family is. And again, it just shows like the extraordinary talent of the home visitors who, mostly match the cultural backgrounds of the families that they're visiting. But I thought that was an important story to share.
So Joy, can you take it the other side? Talk about our partnership with the Stolte Family Foundation.
Yeah. It's such a beautiful moment to be here and talking about our partnership and about ParentChild Plus. And as I sit here and kind of listen to Kim talk, it's really clear that we're aligned in terms of the way in which we work to meet the needs of community, listen to community, and then adapt and adjust. And so one of the things that Kim just said was, it's scaling is certainly about expanding the impact, but it is also about looking at the system and also making sure that the staff who are delivering those critical services are being paid a living wage. And so it's really important for us at United Way that we're partnering with Stolte Family Foundation because our values are aligned, right? Our values with Stolte Family Foundation and United Way are aligned. We're adapting to what's happening on the ground. We're prioritizing children and families. And you can hear the passion as Kim talks about the work. And that means a lot. In terms of kind of the sustainability of this program, ParentChild Plus is a public-private partnership that's been going on for 16 plus years. And so that means that we receive funding and we pool funding from both the city of Seattle, from King County Best Starts for Kids, and then from just a rich community of donors and foundations, including Stolte Family Foundation, of course, Norcliffe Foundation, and just a community of really generous donors. And we as United Way wouldn't be able to serve as the intermediary and bridge of that public-private partnership of public and private funds without certainly the partnership and the values alignment with Stolte Family Foundation and Chris and Heidi, and also the private funding that comes in to match public dollars. And Stolte Family Foundation, as you can hear, is adaptive to community needs. And so one example of that, one recent example is we went to them as we were thinking through the next several years of funding for ParentChild Plus as the partnership and said, you know what, I think what we're going to be seeing a year or so down the line is a need to be responsive to emerging needs within ParentChild Plus families and communities as the political landscape adjusts, as a lot of things happen within our local communities. And so they said, well, we understand that, and we're going to commit some amount of flexible funding so that you all can talk with the PC Plus staff, with families, and figure out what resources we need to provide to meet those needs. And so in the past few years, thanks solely to the funding from the Stolte Family Foundation, we've been able to distribute funding that has significantly covered the grocery expenses, the gas expenses, so in the form of grocery and gift cards, technology supports for hybrid programming. Also, at this time, when you think about the staff who are working with Parent-Child Plus families, staff of color, immigrant refugee staff, they're bearing the brunt of what's happening locally. And so staff wellness events for them to prioritize their care. And Kim and Chris and Heidi are with us every step of the way throughout all of that. And it's just such a beautiful partnership.
And if I can just say in this moment right now, this is one of the reasons why I think the role that United Way is playing as that coach, guide, entity that is committed to looking at all aspects of community and impact at this time, like what's impacting the staff of each organization, what's impacting the home visitors, the coaches of those home visitors. You have to look at every layer, and that is a very unique and special role, and United Way plays that. Not every organization is able to do that. They're all underfunded. They're all under-resourced, and we see burnout at continued levels. We've had more of a commitment lately with other local groups to really bring human service and social service workers up to a higher pay rate, like reimbursable pay rate from city and county entities. We had to do a lot of work there to prove that their level of education and work product was just as high as other fields and, corporations who were paying at a much higher level. So as a system, we've really worked to prove that these individuals who are implementing the program have what it takes to deliver the outcomes that we're hoping to achieve and that government dollars are supposed to be working towards. But you need an entity who has their eyes on everything. And I see that with other partners in our other relationships. And I hear it from other funders where they're talking about how do we create more capacity level supports, more coaching and mentoring, cohorts for executive directors, like all the issues that an individual organization is really challenged with in the delivery of these important services at a time where people are experiencing, a huge high cost of living and a lack of affordability on many ways. So I remember years ago, we started fundraising with our peers to bring them into PC Plus. And one comment I heard was, we don't want to pay the United Way. We'd rather go directly to the organization. And I get that. And I think that's important. We want those groups to be successful. And in order for them to be successful, they need to have their own donor bases as well that will stick with them when there are challenges. But I really think right now that the unique role that you play in keeping an eye on the whole and is going to benefit every organization that works with you in this program more than others. In fact, I hear other funders trying to develop similar systems of support. So it's just to say that while some donors have, all donors have choices, and I think it's great to give directly to organizations, I think we can't discount that how difficult it is to be a service delivery organization right now. And having a friend and a partner in that work, like the United Way, has helped deal with all of the other things that can make a program or an organization close. So United Way has played that role very, very well. And I'll just share, when I think about Heidi's journey, she was new to giving back in the day. And I knew this program would align with her interests because she was a parent. She was a teacher. She cared deeply about focusing on the parent role, the family role, along with finding or programs that would help us get kids to better graduation outcomes. but she went to a couple of opportunities that you all created for donors. And one of them was a graduation. She brought her kids to the graduation, so her kids were able to see what the outcome is and just see community and all of its vibrance and beauty and, celebrating family strengths and kiddos' strengths. It was just wonderful. And then you all gave us the opportunity to go to a home visitor training. And that was really special because she got to hear the home visitors being led by United Way's team around sort of debriefing what their weekly experience was and then coaching each other based on the ideas that they have come up with and working with families with really unique cultural elements to them, and got to see this problem solving in this professional way that also just demonstrated that is such a key part to making sure that those home visitors are processing what they are experiencing, that they're continuing to learn, and that they don't feel isolated. They have their peer group. So I just really loved watching how you all have created opportunities for donors to really get a sense of how special this program is and how smart you are and how smart the organizations are in making sure people are taken care of so that the delivery of this work can happen to the best of its ability.
Awesome. Kim Wright, Stolte Family Foundation, Joy Sebe, United Way of King County, thank you so much for your time today on Hourglass.
Oh, thank you.
For more information about the Stolte Family Foundation, log on to stoltefamilyfoundation.org. For information about United Way of King County's early learning work, log on to uwkc.org, click on What We Do, click on Our Neighbor Fund, and click on Education Opportunity. United Way of King County's free summer meals program is in full swing. This year, United Way is working with partners across the state to expand access to summer meals and connect families to free, nutritious food. In King County, United Way is supporting partners by launching new sites, strengthening outreach, and testing creative strategies to reach more kids and families. Statewide, we're focused on expanding access in rural communities by working with partners to launch mobile meal routes, home delivery programs, and other flexible models where traditional meals aren't always feasible. United Way works with partners across our county to operate nearly 200 free summer meal sites that provide lunch, a snack, and sometimes breakfast or supper daily. United Way's goal is to ensure that every child has access to food during the summer months. For more information, log on to freesummermeals.org. If you're a company interested in volunteering and team building, consider United Way's Community Care Kit opportunities. Community Care Kit offerings are packages loaded with essential items for King County residents based on needs identified by neighborhood-based organizations. Assembling and distributing those kits is part of a volunteer project known as Kit Builds, and we've hosted kit builds for companies and organizations in our area for more than a year. Among the organizations that have taken part in kit builds are Amazon, the Gates Foundation, PACCAR, and Microsoft. For information on how you can sponsor a community care kit offering opportunity, log on to uwkc.org, click on Get Involved, click on Volunteer, and under Group Volunteering, click on Learn More. At United Way of King County, we are working side by side with communities to build an equitable future for everyone. Hourglass United Way is a podcast that highlights how we and our partners spend time making a difference in our communities. Our work is made possible by generous donations from people like you. Please send all comments and suggestions about our podcast to hourglass@uwkc.org. Be sure to follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn via @UnitedWayKC. And to learn more about our work or to support United Way, log on to uwkc.org. I'm your host, Joe Burris. Thanks for listening. Until next time.